If you could stop somebody from breaking in before they got inside, why wouldn't you? Most old-school systems go off after someone's already in your place. That's too late. SimpliSafe is different. It's proactive, with a double layer of defense that stops crimes before they start. First, AI-powered cameras spot potential threats outside. Then, live agents step in, talking to the person through the camera, letting them know they're on video and police will be dispatched if they don't leave. They can even trigger a loud siren or spotlight. That's how you help stop crime before it starts. I got SimpliSafe a few months back, and I've never felt more secure. My new entry and motion sensors give me confidence that my family and belongings are safe. Whether I'm out of town or settling in for the night, that's real safety at the click of a button. This month only, take 50% off any new system. This is one of the best prices you'll ever see for SimpliSafe. Don't miss it. Hit simplisafe.com/disturbed. Again, that's simplisafe.com/disturbed and lock in your discount. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Last-minute shopping can be tough. With empty shelves and ideas running low, things get stressful. Aura Frames is the solution with a gift that feels personal. Take my parents, for example. At their age, they're just focused on family. That's why I'm excited to give them an Aura Frame. Aura Frames are digital picture frames that will allow me and my parents to display an unlimited number of photos on rotation. All we have to do is download the Aura app and invite family to see memories come alive in the highest resolution display on the market. I know they'll be thrilled to stay up to date on the newest photos of the grandkids. Plus, I can preload photos before they ship. After all, you can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura Frames' best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code HORROR at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code HORROR. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast, so get yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome. Take a seat. Tonight, I have a story to share with you. A tale of debts, demons, and death. This is The Curse of Floor 80. From author Elliot Pryce. You're listening to A Night by the Campfire. I climb skyscrapers. I'm a window washer. I do office buildings, high-rises, places like that, and I've seen things through those windows you wouldn't believe. Nudity, fistfights, drug use, you name it. It's all part of the job. I've learned when you catch someone who thinks no one's watching, that's when you see them for who they really are. Still, having said that, nothing trumps what I saw yesterday. Nothing. This is what happened. Me and a trainee were 70 stories high, washing the windows of this little girl's bedroom. This was a luxury high-rise, a very high dollar. Inside, I couldn't help but notice this man hugging his daughter. She might have been 5 or 6. Neither of them saw us. Once he let her go, he put up a hand, like he was telling her not to follow. He turned, walked out the door, and shut it behind him. There was an adjacent window. Inside was the man's living room with the kitchen behind it. The man walked across the living room and over to a bookshelf. He gripped it and walked backwards with it until it blocked the girl's door. In her room,
The girl eyed the door, holding her teddy bear by the arm. She'd heard all that noise, and she was clearly confused. So were we. The man marched back into his living room and jabbed a finger into an empty corner. He hissed at it like he was really giving someone a piece of his mind. But nobody was there. Then went into the kitchen, snatched a bar stool from the counter, brought it back to the living room and placed it underneath a ceiling fan. Come on, what's with this guy? He went back into the kitchen, and this time digging through a drawer, he pulled out a piece of paper and a brand new teddy bear with a tag clipped on its ear. He dropped the paper on the counter. He glanced over at his daughter's bedroom, kissed the teddy bear, set it on top of the paper. He reached back into that same drawer, deeper this time, and when his hand came out, it held onto a long rope with a loop tied on each end. He walked into the living room nice and slow, dragging himself along, like he didn't want to go through with whatever he was doing. In the bedroom, the girl pushed the door. It smacked against the bookshelf. She pushed harder, and once it smacked again, she realized she was trapped. She slapped on the door, screamed so loudly we heard her through an inch of glass. The man balanced himself on the stool. When he heard the girl, his face tightened, like his heart was being squeezed by the sound of her voice. He glared back into that same corner and shouted something I couldn't make out. Then he fastened the rope tight around the ceiling fan. He fastened the other end around his neck. My trainee, who I just call Kid, was yelling, pounding on the glass, shaking our basket around. I gripped onto the railing. Our basket was no bigger than an elevator. It hung by 2-point suspension, connecting to a crane on the top of the building. We dangled over an 800-foot drop. With all that banging around, the man snapped his head up, wide-eyed.
Come on, man!
The kid was yelling.
Don't do it!
The man shook his head. He scooted forward, nudging his toes off the edge of the stool 1 inch at a time. If I didn't do something, he'd kill himself. I had to get his attention back. I grabbed my squeegee, flipped it on its metal handle, and hammered the glass. A loud crack jolted his eyes back up. Skyscraper glass is too thick to shatter, but at least I had him back. I pointed to his daughter's bedroom, and without making a sound, I mouthed the words, "What about her?" The man froze. He glanced toward the bedroom, pressed his lips together, then looked back at me with tears in his eyes. For a second, I thought he felt ashamed. But then he looked at the empty corner again and shouted that he was sorry. My blood ran cold.
Frank,
Kid whispered.
are you seeing this?
I saw the man had reached his breaking point. Whatever he was seeing had him convinced. He faced forward, shut his eyes. The legs of the stool wobbled. He was fighting against his reflexes, trying to force his legs to kick over the stool. One small step from snapping his neck. But then he stepped back. He reached up, lifted the rope from his neck, and stepped down. The girl screamed again for her father. He slouched onto the stool and leaned on his elbows. He studied his hands, which were visibly shaking. And then he sank his face into them. "Get us back up," I told the kid. "I'm calling the cops." While the kid controlled the basket, I dialed 911. 3/4 of the way up, right when the operator connected, the kid stopped the basket. We swayed from the impact and slapped a window. I stared at the kid.
911, what's your emergency?
"Kid," I said, Come on, there's a little girl stuck in there with a lunatic. Get moving. A rush of wind blew by and whistled on the side of the building. The basket rocked and swayed. The kid was looking down over the edge. Slowly, he raised his eyes to meet mine, blinked a few times, and then shook his head, giving off a little smile.
I'm sorry, Frank.
He resumed the lift.
The curse of floor 80 will return in a moment.
At the top, the cops were already waiting for us. I gave an approximate location of the apartment, and a group of them raced inside. A younger cop stayed behind and asked for my statement. I blocked the wind with my hand, lit a cigarette, and told him everything. The rope, the girl, all of it. The cop asked the kid,
Did you witness the same sequence of events, sir?
Not exactly.
the kid said. Huh? What possibly could I have left out? I saw it all in my head like a picture. The cop flipped his notepad to the next page.
All right. What would you like to add?
There was also a woman.
He said.
She might have been in her 70s or 80s. While he tried to hang himself, she stood in the corner, smiling.
What the hell's the matter with you? I asked. The apartment had 2 people, the man and his daughter. You know that.
I'm only telling you what I saw.
The cop studied us, his eyes snapping between me and the kid. Obviously, one of us was lying. When he opened his mouth to speak, someone spoke on his walkie-talkie instead. A string of police codes. Then a demand for an immediate response. The cop hesitated. He didn't want to go. But he pocketed his pen and pad and said,
We'll be in touch.
The door slammed shut, bouncing a metallic clang off nearby buildings. Then we were alone again.
Well,
The kid said.
there's no sense in waiting around. Ready to get back to it?
He pointed at the basket sitting on the edge of the rooftop. He was too casual. Like he didn't just witness a near suicide and lie his ass off to a cop. I think you should go home, kid.
But we're not finished. Why would I do that?
I dropped my cigarette on the ground and smushed it out. Because you're not well. Go on. I'll finish up.
This is my job too, Frank.
Don't worry. You can log your hours. I won't tell no one.
Now, Frank,
He said.
if I left early my first week, how would that make me look?
I don't care how you look. I don't like you. I don't trust you, and I'm not getting back in that basket with you.
Well, do you plan on cleaning any more windows today? If so, I'm afraid you'll have to.
I got in the kid's face. You want me to tell Howard how you just tinkered with the truth? If not, turn around and walk out that door.
Sure, go ahead. Actually, here, I can call him up for you.
The kid dug into his pocket. He pulled out his phone and started scrolling.
Because you see the problem, right? Howard can't fire me for something he wasn't here to see. However,
He flipped his phone around. It was a picture of me nipping a flask on my lunch break. My stomach dropped.
this is what you call concrete evidence.
Then he flipped to Howard's contact and hovered his thumb over the call button.
Do you want me to call? Say the word, Frank, and I'll call.
I could have hit him. Right there. Go. Just go. Get in the basket,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
the kid said.
Hold your horses.
He slipped his phone back in his pocket and strolled over to the AC unit where his backpack was leaning. He dug around. His body blocked whatever he was doing, so I couldn't see what he was grabbing. I came up behind him, but the kid must have heard me. He stood up real fast. He was holding a sandwich, Like this was a good time for a lunch break? Like he wasn't doing anything wrong. Something sparked in me. I palmed that sandwich, wound back, and pitched it off the edge of the skyscraper. It turned into a little white speck against the clear blue sky. Then I looked at the kid dead in the eye, waiting for him to try something, see what happened. The kid's gaze followed it down hundreds of feet. He whistled.
Boy, it sure is a long way down, isn't it, Frank?
He brushed past me, opened the gate of the basket, and stepped inside. I followed, ready for this day to be over. Window washers wear vests with a ring on the back. A harness hooks into that ring and attaches to the roof. God forbid something should happen to the basket. It's the last line of defense. While I hooked in, the kid just stood there. "What?" I said. "Need me to hold your hand?" The kid laughed. He grabbed his harness and took his sweet time hooking in. Then he glanced at the control panel.
Do you want me to take us back down?
"You're good right where you are."
All right then, Frank. Down we go.
I powered on the crane and lifted us several feet above the roof. Then I eased the control stick forward, nudging the basket off the edge, putting hundreds of feet of open air beneath us. The wind picked up again, rocking the basket back and forth. The kid stuck his hands inside his pockets. We descended in total silence, listening to the cables groan. Rush hour traffic raced below. The sun, low in the sky, splashed bright orange across the windows. When we reached the apartment, I glanced inside. It was empty. No father, no little girl, but the chair still sat under the fan, and the rope still hung above it. I couldn't take it no more. I needed answers. All right, you gotta tell me, why did you make that stuff up?
I didn't make anything up, but there is something I left out.
He slipped a pair of box cutters from his pocket. He squeezed the button and the blade flicked out. All right, kid, just take it easy. He grinned, flashing me a set of crooked teeth.
You see her now, don't you?
See who?
Look inside.
I did not want to take my eyes off those box cutters, so I only took a quick peek. What? It's an empty apartment. The kid shook his head.
That is incredible. She's staring right at you, right on the other side of the window. You don't hear her screaming?
I placed my hand on the controls. Look, I think we should head back up.
We're not going back,
he said. The blade glinted in the sunlight. Listen to me. I am not a threat to you. Let's just talk about whatever this is.
Sure, Frank. We'll talk. But first, there's something I need to ask you.
Ask anything.
Would you reach up behind you and unhook your harness?
The kid had lost his mind. His eyes had this stone-cold look. He was dead serious. That's a safety violation, I said.
I know. I've paid attention during training. But this is a debt that we both have to pay.
My God. The kid wanted both of us to jump. Whatever delusions the man in the apartment had, the kid now had them too. And like the man, I happened to know that the kid also had a family. A wife and a little girl of his own. I dropped my voice. Answer me this. When your little girl is waiting for you at the door tonight, and you don't come home, how do you think she's gonna feel?
Probably about the same as your wife,
he said, shifting the blade from my stomach to my neck.
Last chance, Frank. Are you going to jump?
I took a glance down. Down 70 stories. Down 800 feet. Down to rush hour traffic so far away, it looked like a line of ants. Please, I said, don't do this." The kid exhaled, shut his eyes, and reopened them. He removed the blade from my neck and pushed past me. He moved to the end of the basket and gripped a cable and started cutting. I took one step toward him, then heard a loud pop. A spray of liquid hissed from where he'd cut. I couldn't believe it. He'd severed the hydraulic line. Then I felt a bang. The basket dipped at a sharp angle. I slid down, striking against the gate and the kid. We both scrambled, fighting to plant our feet on the gate and get upright. I had a railing on my left, and he had a railing on his right. We stood up shoulder to shoulder in the narrow width of the basket, each gripping the railing on our own side. I looked over at the kid, and his eyes were already on me. Without breaking eye contact, he reached down and opened the gate under our feet.
You are listening to The Curse of Floor 80. We'll be right back.
My cable caught my weight and my feet dangled. I hugged the railing tighter. I glanced down and saw an open ocean of air. "Please," I begged, "just stop." The kid hooked his feet onto the railing, trying to achieve some type of stability. Then his hand left the railing, reached above me, and snipped my line. The weight of my entire body dropped into the grip of my hands. Now I dangled freely with no harness. Hydraulic fluid rained down, slicking the railing. My fingers were losing their grip. I hugged the railing tighter.
"Come on, Frank,"
the kid said.
"Let go already."
I could no longer speak. I just nodded my head. I felt the kid's hand grip my shoulder and then push down. I slid a couple of inches. The railing screeched under my fingers. A cool rush of wind brushed against my legs.
Here's the issue, Frank. If you don't choose to fall, it's not suicide, it's murder. And she doesn't want murder. So you have to make the choice.
Then I felt his blade edging into the crevice between my head and right ear.
But I can make your choice real easy. Do you want that? Is that what you want, Frank?
I had never been so close to death. Every muscle inside my body tightened with fear. Then, out of nowhere, my mind pitched an idea. The kid was covered in hydraulic fluid. Hydraulic fluid is flammable. There was a lighter in my pocket. If I could make him cut his own line, I could torch him off the basket. But if he saw me going for the light, I was finished. I kicked my feet up, working to plant them on the inner lip of the basket. The exertion added strain to my hands and wrists. They began to tremble. "Help me," I said. "I'll do it, but first help me." His hand gripped the back of my shirt and lifted. My foot found the lip, giving immediate relief to my hands. But his knife slid into my ear a little deeper.
Do you need a count of 3?
"Just wait," I said, trying to catch my breath. "I have a condition."
What condition?
"That we both go at the same time." A trickle of blood ran down my neck.
Come on, Frank. Don't try to trick me.
"No tricks," I said. "If you don't come with me, I choose no. You cut all you want, but unless we both jump, I choose no." The kid went quiet. Several seconds passed. Then the blade lifted from my ear. I peeked over. The kid hugged the railing, fixing to cut his own line. His eyes were still on me. I held the railing tight with my right hand. With the left one hidden behind my body, I brought it down, praying he wouldn't notice.
Wait,
He said.
why are you looking at me like that?
He snipped his line. "Because, kid, this face is the last one you're ever gonna see." I closed my fingers on the lighter.
That goes for both of us.
He said.
I'm going to jump onto you now, Frank. Then we're both going to fall. Are you ready for that?
Uh-huh. The kid turned his body fully toward me, ready to jump. Then his eyes caught my hand. I punched it under his chin and clicked the flame. His skull erupted into a burst of fire. He stuck out his hands to latch onto me, but I stuck out my leg and pumped him one in the stomach. He crumpled up and slipped off the basket, plunging into thin air. I hung there another 30 minutes before rescue came. While I waited, I must have started hallucinating, because I could have sworn I heard a woman screaming. Then the firefighters came. They cut a hole in the glass and they pulled me in. From then on, disturbing things have been happening. While my wife drove me home, she asked for my permission to swerve into head-on traffic. That same night, I woke up to my 16-year-old son dousing me and my wife with gasoline. Then he asked for my permission to light a match. Now I'm sitting on the edge of a skyscraper with my feet hanging off the edge. This entity is real. I know it is, because it's inside the heads of my entire family. It's torturing me, tearing me down by using the people I love the most. It feeds on my pain and suffering, and it wants me to make a choice. After careful consideration, I think I've reached one.
Thank you for joining us tonight at the Campfire. I'm your host, Doug Bailey. Declan Roars is our producer, and Nate Corson is our audio engineer. Tonight's story is brought to you by Elliot Pryce and narrated by myself, Bodie Crow, Declan Roars, and Samantha Morganti. Until next time, stay safe out there.